I found the journal in her yoga bag. Not snooping, just looking for my missing AirPods that she'd probably borrowed without asking, like she did with everything. The leather notebook fell out when I lifted her mat, landing open on our bedroom floor. April 15th. He makes me feel alive again. When Brad touches me, I remember who I was before marriage turned me into someone's wife, someone's mother. Today we had 2 hours at the Riverside Inn, room 347, our room now. The words hit me like a freight train. I stood there, frozen, the notebook in my hands, reading my wife Amanda's neat cursive documenting 6 months of an affair. 6 months. Half a year of lies while I'd been working 60-hour weeks at the firm, thinking I was building our future. May 3rd. Told Kevin I had book club. Brad and I drove to Portland for the weekend. He says his wife doesn't understand him. I'm starting to think Kevin doesn't really see me anymore either. Kevin. That's me. The husband who doesn't see her. The fool paying for the house, the cars, the lifestyle while she drives to Portland with some guy named Brad. My hands shook as I flipped through pages and pages of detailed entries. Dates, times, locations. The Riverside Inn appeared frequently, 15 minutes from our house in Bellevue, Washington. She'd been meeting him during her yoga classes on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, sometimes during her girls' nights. Once during my mother's birthday dinner that she'd skipped, claiming a migraine. June 21st. Brad wants me to leave Kevin, says he's ready to leave Patricia too. But the kids, and Kevin would take everything. His lawyer friends would destroy me. For now, this is enough. The secret makes it more exciting anyway. The secret. Our entire marriage had become her dirty little secret, something to manage around her real life with Brad. I heard her car pull into the driveway. My heart hammered against my ribs. For a split second, I considered putting the journal back, pretending I'd never seen it. 12 years of marriage, 2 kids. Emma was 9, Tyler was 6. We had a life, a history. Then I read the last entry, dated yesterday. July 8th. Brad gave me a key to his condo downtown. Patricia is visiting her sister in California for 2 weeks. He wants me to spend nights there. I told Kevin I'm doing that meditation retreat in Tacoma. He believed me without question, like always. Sometimes I wonder if he'd even notice if I never came home. The garage door opened beneath our bedroom. I could hear her humming, actually humming, as she walked into the house. Kevin, you home? Her voice floated up the stairs, light and cheerful. The voice of someone without a care in the world. I looked at myself in the mirror above our dresser. 36 years old, decent shape despite the desk job, still had most of my hair. We'd met in college, got married at 24, had Emma at 27. I'd made partner at Whitmore & Associates 3 years ago. We had the 4-bedroom house, the good schools, the annual vacation to Maui, and apparently, I had a wife who'd been sleeping with someone else in room 347 at the Riverside Inn for the past 6 months. Kevin? She was climbing the stairs now. I slipped the journal into my briefcase and met her at the bedroom door. Amanda looked radiant. Her blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, wearing those expensive Lululemon tights she lived in, carrying her yoga bag. She smiled when she saw me, rising on her toes to kiss my cheek. Hey, babe. You're home early. Good day? I studied her face. The face I'd woken up next to for 12 years. She met my eyes without a flicker of guilt, her expression open and warm. An Oscar-worthy performance. Fine, I managed. How was yoga? Great. We worked on inversions today. I'm getting better at my headstand. She moved past me into the bedroom, setting down her bag exactly where I'd found it. I'm going to grab a quick shower before I start dinner. The kids are at your mom's until 6, right? Right. She disappeared into the bathroom, still humming that same tune. I heard the shower turn on. I sat on the edge of our bed. The bed we'd picked out together 5 years ago. The bed where we'd conceived Tyler. The bed where she'd lain next to me every night while carrying on a full-blown affair. My phone buzzed. Text from my law partner, David. Drinks tonight? Got some news about the Brennan case. I stared at the message. David. Criminal defense attorney, 20 years of experience, and my closest friend since law school. He'd know what to do. But calling him would make this real. It would start something I couldn't stop. The shower was still running. I pulled the journal from my briefcase and photographed every single page with my phone. 43 entries in total, each one more damning than the last. Detailed accounts of hotel visits, weekend trips, intimate moments. Her plans, her feelings, her complete disregard for our marriage. Then I put the journal back exactly where I'd found it, in her yoga bag. I texted David back. Yeah, O'Malley's at 8. Need to talk. Amanda emerged from the bathroom 20 minutes later, wrapped in a towel, her skin flushed from the hot water. What do you want for dinner? I was thinking of making that chicken piccata you like. Sounds good, I said, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. She smiled and started getting dressed, chattering about her day, about Emma's upcoming dance recital, about the neighborhood barbecue next weekend. I responded at the right moments, nodded when appropriate, played the role of Kevin the oblivious husband. Because I'd already decided. I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. I was going to do this right. The smell of charcoal and lighter fluid hits me as I pull into my parents' driveway in Buckhead. Amanda's already out of the car before I've killed the engine, smoothing her sundress and adjusting her sunglasses. She looks perfect. She always looks perfect. There's Mom. She waves at my mother, who's standing on the porch with a pitcher of sweet tea. I grabbed the potato salad from the back seat, store-bought, because Amanda said she didn't have time to make it from scratch. Too busy, I suppose, documenting her feelings about Brad in that journal I've been reading every night for the past 2 weeks. Kevin! My dad claps me on the shoulder. How's the legal eagle? Good, Dad. Busy. Always busy. He takes the potato salad. Come on back. Got the grill going. The backyard is full of relatives I see maybe twice a year. Cousins, aunts. My Uncle Ray is already 3 beers deep, holding court by the pool with some story about his new dash cam. He's a good guy when he's sober. When he's drunk, he can't keep his mouth shut. Amanda kisses my cheek. I'm going to help your mom with the appetizers. I watch her go. She's been extra affectionate lately. More sex, more touching, more I love yous. The journal explained why, guilt management. She wrote about it on June 23rd. I need to be better to Kevin. He deserves that much at least. Brad says the guilt means I still have a conscience. Brad's words of wisdom. What a guy. Kevin, my cousin Jennifer waves from the picnic table. Come sit. I make the rounds. Small talk, weather, work, the Braves. Everyone asks about the kids who are with Amanda's parents this weekend. I smile. I nod. I drink a beer I don't taste. An hour in, Uncle Ray corners me by the grill. Kevin, my boy. His words are slurred. How's that beautiful wife of yours? She's good. Yeah? Yeah? He leans in, breath heavy with Budweiser. You keeping an eye on her? Something in his tone makes me look up. What? Nothing, nothing. He waves his hand. Just, pretty woman like that. My dad calls him over to flip burgers. Ray stumbles away and I tell myself he's just drunk, just talking nonsense. But 20 minutes later, he's back. Kevin, Kevin. He's holding his phone now, squinting at the screen. I gotta tell you something. Ray, maybe you should have some water. No, listen. He jabs at his phone. Last Tuesday, I was at Lenox Square, right? Getting Debbie that necklace for our anniversary, and I see Amanda. My blood goes cold. She's with some guy, holding hands. I thought, that's weird, right? So I check my dash cam when I get to the car. I got it set to record even when I'm parked, see? Because of that break-in last month. And I got her. Got her right there on camera. He shoves the phone in my face. The screen shows the parking garage at Lenox Square. Date stamp, Tuesday, July 11th. Time, 2:47 p.m. And there's Amanda, clear as day, walking hand in hand with a man I've never seen before. Tall, dark hair. They stop by a silver Audi, and he pulls her in for a kiss. Not a friendly kiss, not a mistake. I wasn't going to say nothing, Ray slurs. But that's messed up, Kevin. That's really messed up. You're a good guy. You deserve better than… Ray! My mom's voice cuts across the yard. Come help me with the cooler. He stumbles away, still muttering. I stand there holding my beer, watching Amanda laugh at something my Aunt Carol said. She glances over, catches my eye, smiles that perfect smile. The smile she gave Brad in that parking garage 4 days ago. 4 days ago, while I was in court. While she told me she was getting her hair done. My hands are shaking. I pull out my phone and text Ray. Send me that video. 3 dots appear, then, done, brother. Sorry, man. The file comes through. I download it. Watch it again. Her hand in his hand on her waist. The kiss. The way she looks up at him. The way she used to look at me. I look at my phone, at the video, at Amanda across the yard. Then I look at the projector my dad set up for the slideshow later. He always does a slideshow at these things. Family photos, embarrassing childhood pictures. Everyone gathers around for toasts and memories. I walk over to where my dad keeps the HDMI cables. Kevin? My mom appears at my elbow. You okay, honey? You look pale. I'm fine, Mom. I hold up my phone. Just want to add some photos to the slideshow. Got some good ones from our trip last month. She beams. Oh, that's wonderful. Your father will love that. I connect my phone to the projector. Test it. The screen lights up on the side of the garage. Dad's makeshift movie screen, a white sheet he's had for 20 years. Perfect. Dinner happens. Ribs and chicken and corn on the cob. Amanda sits next to me, her hand on my knee under the table. She's talking about redecorating the living room. I make appropriate sounds. Uncle Ray is on his 6th beer, getting louder. My dad cuts him off, switches him to water. Ray complains but accepts it. As the sun starts to set, Dad stands up and taps his glass. All right. Time for the traditional Patterson family slideshow. He grins at me. Kevin's got some additions this year. Everyone gathers. Lawn chairs scrape across the patio. Amanda stands next to me, her arm around my waist. Ready? My dad asks. I pull up the video on my phone. Ready. The slideshow starts. Old family photos. My parents' wedding. Baby pictures. Everyone laughs and points. Amanda squeezes my hand. Then the video plays. The parking garage. The date stamp. Amanda and the stranger. The hand holding. The kiss. Dead silence. Amanda's hand drops from mine. Kevin. I hold up her beer, the one she set down on the table, just out of her reach. Who is he? That's… Her face is white. Who is he? I keep my voice level. Calm. The way I sound in court. Kevin, please, we can talk about this at home. His name, Amanda. My mother gasps. My father stares at the screen, frozen. The video loops. Amanda and Brad. Amanda and Brad. Amanda and Brad. Everyone's watching, Amanda whispers. Please. Then give me his name. Uncle Ray, drunk and righteously angry, stands up. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I saw. I told you, Kevin. I told you. Ray, sit down, my father says quietly. His name, I repeat. Amanda's crying now. Real tears. Not the ones she wrote about practicing in the mirror before difficult conversations with Brad. Brad, His name is Brad. I hand her the beer. She takes it with shaking hands. Thank you for your honesty. I disconnect my phone from the projector. Pull up the family group text. All 23 members of the Patterson clan. Attach the video. Type, family ties broken. Send. Phones start buzzing around the yard. Kevin, wait. Amanda reaches for me. I step back. Don't. My mother is crying. My father looks like he aged 10 years. Uncle Ray is yelling something about loyalty and marriage vows. My cousins are staring at their phones, then at Amanda, then at me. I walk to the cooler where Ray's been getting his beers all day, the one he left by the pool. I pull out the bottle I prepared earlier, the one with the ipecac syrup mixed in, the one I marked with a small X on the cap. I walk it over to him. Here, Ray. I press it into his hand. For your loose lips. He looks confused, but takes it. Cracks it open. Drinks. I watch Amanda standing alone in the middle of my family, all of them staring at her like she's a stranger. Because she is. She's been a stranger for 6 months. Maybe longer. Kevin, my father says. Son, I'm going to a hotel tonight. I'll call you tomorrow. I walk through the side gate, get in my car, and drive away. In my rearview mirror, I can see Amanda standing in the driveway, illuminated by the porch light, still holding that beer. My phone buzzes. Text from my mom. We love you. Come back when you're ready. Then my dad. She's not welcome here anymore. Then Jennifer. About damn time someone called her out. Then my Aunt Carol. Family reunion at Christmas. She's banned. The messages keep coming. All of them. Every single Patterson. Not one of them defending her. I drive until I reach the Marriott downtown. Check in. Sit on the bed in the dark. My phone rings. Amanda. I don't answer. It rings again. 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 I turn it off. In the silence, I can finally breathe. The hotel room smelled like industrial cleaner and someone else's cologne. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone in hand, watching the family group chat explode with messages. My mother had sent 3 paragraphs about family values. My cousin Jennifer demanded Amanda's head on a platter. Uncle Ray, surprisingly coherent for someone who downed half a case of Bud Light, texted, always knew something was off about her. I set the phone face down on the nightstand. The beer, with the X. Uncle Ray's beer. I'd mixed 2 tablespoons of ipecac syrup into it while everyone gathered around the projector. Marked the can with a Sharpie while pretending to check my messages. Handed it to him with a smile and those 4 words, for your loose lips. He'd exposed Amanda's affair to my entire family, given me the evidence I needed, and I'd poisoned him for it. The logic didn't track. I knew that. But sitting in that hotel room, hands trembling as I stared at the beige wall, I understood the impulse. Uncle Ray had made a spectacle of my humiliation, turned my private devastation into family entertainment. The dash cam footage was a gift, yes? But the drunk announcement, the public reveal, that was for his amusement. For the story he'd tell at every future barbecue. My phone buzzed. Amanda. We need to talk. I deleted the message without responding. Another buzz. My brother Michael. You staying at the Marriott off 285? I can bring you some clothes. I'm good, thanks. Mom wants to know if you've called a lawyer. I hadn't. Not yet. I'd spent 2 weeks planning the barbecue confrontation, rehearsing the moment I'd connect my phone to that projector. But I hadn't thought past it. Hadn't considered what came after the family turned against her, after I walked out. The divorce would be brutal. Amanda wouldn't go quietly. She'd fight for the house, for custody, for half of everything I'd built. And she'd have ammunition, my 60-hour work weeks, the business trips, The times I'd chosen the firm over Emma's recitals or Tyler's soccer games. I pulled out my laptop and started searching. Atlanta divorce attorneys. High conflict custody cases. Georgia adultery laws. Georgia was a no-fault state, but adultery could still impact alimony. If I could prove the affair, prove she'd spent marital assets on Brad, I might limit what she walked away with. The journal entries mentioned dinners, hotel rooms, the Portland trip, all paid for with our joint account. I opened my phone's photo gallery, scrolled through the 43 images of Amanda's handwriting, found the entry from June 12th. Brad surprised me with dinner at Aria, told Kay I was at book club. The Chilean sea base was incredible. We shared a bottle of wine that cost more than my wedding dress. He makes me feel like I'm worth expensive things. Aria. I'd looked up the menu prices. Entrees started at $85. Wine list ran into 4 figures. I checked our bank statements. June 12th, $340 charge to Aria. She'd used our money to date him. I took screenshots of the bank statement, cross-referenced it with the journal entry, started building a spreadsheet. By 2 a.m., I had a timeline. Every hotel charge, every restaurant, every unexplained ATM withdrawal. 6 months of affair expenses totaling $8,347, all from our joint account. My phone buzzed again. Amanda. Please come home. The kids are asking where you are. The kids, Emma and Tyler. They'd been at Amanda's sister's house during the barbecue. They didn't know yet. Didn't know their mother had blown up our family for a man named Brad. I typed a response. Tell them I'm working. Deleted it. Tried again. I'll call them tomorrow. Sent it before I could second guess. Another message appeared immediately. This isn't just about you. They need their father. The audacity. She'd spent 6 months sneaking around with Brad, documenting every moment in her journal, and now she wanted to lecture me about the kids. I set the phone down, walked to the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face. The mirror showed a man I barely recognized. 36 years old. Partner at Whitmore and Associates. 12-year marriage, 2 kids, and a wife who'd rather spend $340 on dinner with her lover than stay home with her family. My phone rang. Amanda's name lit up the screen. I answered. Kevin? Her voice was steady, controlled. We need to talk about this like adults. Adults? I laughed. Couldn't help it. You want to talk about being adults? What you did tonight was cruel, humiliating me in front of your entire family. What I did? The words came out sharp. What about what you did? 6 months, Amanda. 6 months of lying to me, to our kids. Silence on the other end. I have the journal, I continued. Every entry, every detail. Brad. The Riverside Inn. Portland. All of it. Her breath caught. You went through my things. Your things? Your journal was in your yoga bag. The bag you left on our bed. The bed where we sleep. Where we... I stopped, forced myself to breathe. You don't get to play victim here. I'm not playing anything. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. This was a choice. 43 journal entries worth of choices. More silence. Is it over? I asked. You and Brad. Kevin. Yes or no? It's complicated. I hung up. The phone rang again. I declined the call, turned off the ringer. At 3 a.m., I opened my laptop again. Searched for Brad's last name. Amanda's journal had mentioned it once. Brad Hutchinson. Married to Patricia. 2 kids. Lived in Buckhead. Facebook had 3 Brad Hutchinsons in Atlanta. The second one matched. Profile picture showed a man in his 40s, dark hair, expensive suit, smiling next to a brunette woman, Patricia, presumably. His profile was private, but his wife's wasn't. Patricia Hutchinson. marketing director at a pharmaceutical company. 2 kids, Sophie, 11, and Nathan, 8. Recent posts showed family vacation photos from Hilton Head. Brad with his arm around Patricia. Both kids grinning at the camera. A happy family. Just like mine had been. Or seemed to be. I took screenshots of Patricia's profile. Her work email was listed in her bio. I opened a new message. Dear Patricia, you don't know me, but I think we need to talk about our spouses. I stopped, read it back, deleted it. This wasn't my move. Not yet. Amanda deserved to face the consequences of her choices, but dragging Brad's wife into it felt like escalation. Like I'd be doing to Patricia what Uncle Ray had done to me, turning private devastation into public spectacle. I closed the laptop. My phone screen showed 17 new messages in the family group chat. I scrolled through them. My sister Katie had posted the dashcam video again with a caption, in case anyone missed it. My cousin Jennifer had responded with 3 fire emojis and Team Kevin all the way. Uncle Ray hadn't posted anything in the last hour. The ipecac would have kicked in by now. He'd be hunched over his toilet, vomiting up every beer he'd consumed. Miserable, confused, wondering if he'd gotten food poisoning from the potato salad. I should have felt guilty, should have regretted it. I didn't. Uncle Ray had turned my pain into entertainment. Had pulled up that dash cam footage with the glee of someone who'd just won the lottery. Had watched my face as I processed the image of Amanda kissing another man in the Lenox Square parking lot. The ipecac was proportional. A few hours of discomfort for a man who'd treated my humiliation like a party trick. My phone buzzed. Michael again. Mom says you're not answering Amanda's calls. I'm not. Good. She doesn't deserve your time. Tell Mom I'll come by tomorrow. Need to figure some things out first. You got it. And Kevin, I'm proud of you. What you did tonight took guts. I set the phone down. Stared at the ceiling. Guts. That's what Michael called it. But sitting in that hotel room, alone with my spreadsheet of affair expenses and screenshots of Brad's family, it felt less like courage and more like free fall. The hotel room smelled like industrial cleaner and someone else's cologne. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my phone while my stomach churned with a different kind of nausea than what Uncle Ray was experiencing right about now. The Patterson family group text had exploded. 47 messages in the last hour. Aunt Linda. Kevin, we're so sorry. We had no idea. Cousin Jake. That's messed up, man. You got our full support. My mom. Come stay with us tonight, honey. Please. I scrolled past the sympathy and found what I was looking for. My cousin Derek's message from 20 minutes ago. Derek. Dude, Amanda just showed up at your parents' house screaming. Your dad told her to leave or he'd call the cops. She's losing it. Good. I opened my photos and looked at the dash cam footage Uncle Ray had airdropped to me before the vomiting started. The timestamp showed 2:47 p.m. July 2nd. Amanda's car in the Lenox Square parking garage. Her getting out, walking to a silver Audi. Brad Hutchinson stepping out. The kiss that lasted 11 seconds. Uncle Ray's drunk mouth had done me a favor, even if I'd made him pay for it. My phone buzzed. Amanda, 5th call in the last hour. I let it go to voicemail and pulled up my laptop instead. The Georgia State Bar website loaded slowly on the hotel Wi-Fi. I typed "Divorce Attorney Atlanta" into the search function and started scrolling through names. I needed someone good. Someone who understood that I wasn't interested in reconciliation or counseling or any of that save-the-marriage garbage. I wanted blood. My phone rang again. Not Amanda this time, my law school buddy, Jason Turner. He practiced family law in Buckhead. Kevin, Jesus Christ, man. I just got a call from your mom. She's making the rounds, I guess. She said you publicly outed Amanda at a family barbecue, said there's video evidence. I stood and walked to the window. The parking lot stretched out below, half empty on a Sunday evening. Uncle Ray's dash cam caught her with the guy. He showed everyone. And you have a copy of this footage? Yeah. Email it to me, right now. I pulled the phone away from my ear and looked at it. Jason. I'm serious. Send it to me before you do anything else. I need to see what we're working with. I sat back down and opened my email. Attach the video file. Hit send. Done. Good. Now listen to me. Do not contact Amanda tonight. Do not go back to the house. Do not post anything on social media. Do not talk to anyone except me and maybe your parents. You understand? I'm not an idiot. I know you're not. But you're also not thinking clearly right now, and I need you to trust me on this. Where are you staying? Marriott on Cortlandt. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Don't leave that room. He hung up before I could respond. I set the phone down and opened my laptop again. The joint bank account showed 3 new charges since I'd left the barbecue. Kroger, 4723. Shell Station, 52 Zerasors. CVS Pharmacy, 3184. Amanda was still spending our money like nothing had changed. I took screenshots of everything. The dash cam footage timestamp, the bank charges, the text messages from her family members expressing their support for me. Every piece of evidence went into a folder on my desktop labeled Patterson vs. Patterson. My phone buzzed with a text. Unknown number. This is Patricia Hutchinson, Brad's wife. We need to talk. My finger hovered over the screen. I'd planned to contact her eventually, but I hadn't expected her to reach out first. How did you get my number? The response came immediately. Brad's phone. He left it at home when he went to run errands this afternoon. I saw the messages from your wife. All of them. I stood and paced the small room. This was moving faster than I'd anticipated. What do you want? To compare notes, to make sure they both pay for this. A knock on the door made me jump. I looked through the peephole and saw Jason standing in the hallway, tie loosened, looking tired. I opened the door. That wasn't 30 minutes. I was already in the area. He walked past me and set his briefcase on the desk. Show me everything. I pulled up the folder on my laptop and turned it toward him. He scrolled through in silence, his expression getting darker with each screenshot. You documented the affair before tonight? Found her journal 2 weeks ago, photographed every page. And you didn't confront her? No. Smart. He kept scrolling. Very smart. Most guys would have lost their minds and done something stupid. You built a case instead. My phone buzzed again. Patricia. Are you there? Jason glanced at the screen. Who's that? Brad's wife. She found the messages on his phone. Wants to meet. Absolutely not. Why? Because right now you have the high ground. You have evidence, you have family support, and you have a clear narrative. The second you start coordinating with the other wronged spouse, things get messy. Emotions get involved. People make mistakes. She could have evidence I don't have. Or she could be recording your conversation to use against you later. Or she could reconcile with her husband and suddenly you're the bad guy who tried to break up their marriage. Jason closed the laptop. Trust me on this. Let her twist in the wind for now. Focus on your own divorce. I looked at my phone again. Patricia's message sat there, unanswered. What about the kids? I asked. Jason's expression softened slightly. Emma and Tyler? Yeah. Where are they right now? At the house with Amanda. And they don't know anything yet? They were at a friend's birthday party during the barbecue. Amanda picked them up after. Jason pulled out his phone and started typing. We need to establish a temporary custody arrangement before this gets ugly. I'm going to file an emergency motion first thing tomorrow morning. We'll ask for primary physical custody with supervised visitation for Amanda. On what grounds? Emotional instability, adultery. The fact that she showed up at your parents' house screaming tonight. That's not the behavior of someone who should have unsupervised access to children during a crisis. My stomach twisted. They're going to ask questions. They're going to want to know why I'm not coming home. Then you tell them the truth. Age-appropriate version, but the truth. Mom made some choices that hurt the family. Dad needs some time to figure things out. You still love them very much. I sat down on the bed. The room suddenly felt smaller. This is really happening. Yeah. Jason sat in the desk chair and looked at me. It is. And I need you to understand something. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Amanda's going to fight. She's going to cry and apologize and promise to change. Her lawyer's going to paint you as a vindictive husband who humiliated her publicly. The court's going to ask why you didn't try counseling first. I don't want counseling. I know, but you need to be prepared for all of it. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Amanda. Please call me. The kids are asking where you are. I showed the message to Jason. He shook his head. Text back. Tell her you're staying at a hotel tonight and you'll discuss arrangements for the children tomorrow through your attorney. Nothing else. I typed exactly what he said and hit send. The response came within seconds. You're really doing this? You're going to destroy our family over one mistake? One mistake, I said aloud. 6 months, 43 journal entries, thousands of dollars. But sure, one mistake. Jason stood and picked up his briefcase. Get some sleep. I'll file the emergency custody motion at 9 a.m. We'll have a hearing by end of week. In the meantime, document everything. Every text, every call, every interaction. If she shows up here, don't let her in. If she threatens you, call the police. If she tries to take the kids out of state, call me immediately. He walked to the door, then turned back. Kevin, you did the right thing. Not just tonight, but 2 weeks ago when you found that journal and didn't lose your mind. A lot of guys would have confronted her immediately and lost all their leverage. You played it smart. After he left, I lay back on the hotel bed and stared at the ceiling. My phone sat silent on the nightstand. No more calls from Amanda, no more texts from Patricia, just the quiet hum of the air conditioner and the distant sound of traffic on Cortlandt Street. Tomorrow I'd file for divorce. Tomorrow I'd fight for my kids. Tomorrow I'd start the process of dismantling 12 years of marriage. But tonight, I just lay there in a hotel room that smelled like industrial cleaner and someone else's cologne, and tried to remember what my life had looked like 48 hours ago. The hotel room smells like industrial cleaner and someone else's life. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed at 11:47 p.m., phone in hand, staring at Patricia Hutchinson's message for the 20th time. We should talk. I have information you'll want. And I suspect you have information I need. Jason's words from this afternoon echo in my head. Don't contact her directly. Any communication needs to go through attorneys. But Patricia isn't represented yet. According to the private investigator's preliminary report that landed in my email an hour ago, she doesn't even know the full extent of what Brad's been doing. The PI found credit card statements showing Brad took Amanda to the same restaurant where he proposed to Patricia. Took her to Napa for their anniversary weekend while telling Patricia he had a work conference in Sacramento. My phone buzzes. Another text from my mother. Amanda showed up at the house crying. Your father let her in. She's in the guest room. I told him this was a mistake, but he won't listen. I close my eyes. Of course Dad let her in. He's always had a soft spot for Amanda, ever since she organized that surprise birthday party for him 5 years ago. Rented out his favorite steakhouse, invited all his old Air Force buddies, even tracked down his commanding officer from Germany. The party cost $4,200. I found the receipt in the journal. Brad contributed $1,500 because Amanda told him she was planning something special for someone important. My father ate prime rib bought partially with her lover's money. I open my laptop and pull up the folder labeled Financial Analysis. Spreadsheets filled the screen. Every withdrawal, every unexplained charge, every lie mapped out in columns and formulas. The $83.47 was just what she documented. The PI found another $3,200 in cash, withdrawals from her personal account, the one she opened 2 years ago claiming she wanted a little independence. I'd thought it was healthy, encouraged it, even. My phone rings. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail, but whoever it is calls back immediately, then a third time. On the fourth call, I answer. Kevin Patterson? A woman's voice, tight with controlled emotion. Speaking. This is Patricia Hutchinson. I know your attorney probably told you not to talk to me, but I don't care about attorneys right now. I care about the fact that my husband has been sleeping with your wife for 6 months, and I just found out 2 hours ago because Brad's mother saw your family's group text. I sit up straighter. How did you get this number? I'm a research librarian. Finding information is literally my job. She takes a shaky breath. I need to know everything. Brad came home, packed a bag, and left. He won't answer my calls. His mother won't stop crying. My children are asking why Daddy's gone, and I have nothing to tell them because I don't know anything. The rawness in her voice catches me off guard. This isn't calculated. This is someone 4 hours into the same nightmare I've been living for 3 weeks. Where are you right now? I ask. Sitting in my car in a Safeway parking lot because I can't go home and look at our wedding photos on the wall. I know that feeling. The hotel room suddenly makes more sense. The Marriott on 156th, I say. Room 412. There's a Denny's across the street. I'll meet you there in 20 minutes. Your attorney isn't here, I finish. And I'm not making any legal decisions tonight. But you deserve to know what I know. She's quiet for a moment. Thank you. I hang up and immediately text Jason. Meeting with Patricia Hutchinson tonight. Not discussing legal strategy. She deserves to know the timeline. His response comes in 30 seconds. Do not do this. Call me first. I don't call him. Patricia Hutchinson looks exactly like her Facebook photos. Dark hair, glasses, tired eyes that probably weren't this tired a week ago. She's wearing yoga pants and an oversized sweatshirt, and she's gripping a coffee cup like it's the only thing keeping her upright. I slide into the booth across from her. The Denny's is nearly empty, just us and a trucker 2 booths over working through a grand slam. I printed everything, I say, pulling a manila folder from my bag. Timeline, locations, expenses. I took photos of her journal before I left it for her to find. She documented everything. Patricia opens the folder with shaking hands. Her eyes scan the first page, the spreadsheet showing dates, times, locations. The Riverside Inn, she whispers. That's 15 minutes from our house. He was 15 minutes away. April 15th was their first time, I say, keeping my voice level. Room 347. She wrote about how nervous she was, how Brad brought wine and told her she was beautiful. Patricia's jaw tightens. April 15th was our daughter Sophie's birthday. We had a party at the house. Brad left early, said he had to handle a work emergency. She looks up at me. He missed cutting the cake. I flip to another page. May 23rd, Portland trip. She told me she was going to visit her college roommate. He told you Sacramento work conference. He brought me back a snow globe from the Sacramento airport gift shop. Her voice cracks. It's on Sophie's dresser. We sit in silence while she reads. I watch her face cycle through everything I felt 3 weeks ago. Disbelief, rage, grief. Then a cold settling that feels like acceptance but isn't. The money, she says finally. Brad's been tighter with finances lately. Said we needed to cut back. Maybe skip our summer vacation. I thought he was being responsible. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. He was funding his affair with your wife while telling me we couldn't afford to take our kids to Disneyland. Amanda used our joint account, I say. She didn't even try to hide it. She thought I'd never check because I trusted her. Did you? Trust her? I consider the question. I trusted the person I thought she was. Turns out that person didn't exist. Patricia closes the folder and pushes it back toward me. I can't take this home. My kids might find it. I'll email you everything. Password protected. What are you going to do? She asks. Legally, I mean. Full custody, divorce on grounds of adultery. Georgia's a no-fault state, but adultery still matters for alimony and asset division. My attorney's filing an emergency motion for temporary custody of my kids on Monday. Will you get it? Probably. I documented everything. She abandoned them at the barbecue, didn't check on them for 6 hours. My parents have statements. My uncle has the dash cam footage showing her with Brad at 2:30 p.m. on a Tuesday when she told me she was at a PTA meeting. Patricia nods slowly. Brad's parents are already calling me. His mother wants to know if we can work it out. Like this is a disagreement about loading the dishwasher. My father let Amanda into their house tonight, I say. She's in their guest room right now. Are you serious? He thinks she's confused, that she made a mistake and needs support. I signal the waitress for coffee. He doesn't know about the journal yet. When I show him the entry where she wrote about having sex with Brad in our bed while I was at the office, that'll change. Patricia winces. She wrote that. She wrote everything. What they did, how it felt, how guilty she felt afterward, how she stopped feeling guilty after the third time. The coffee arrives and I wrap my hands around the mug. She wrote about Brad's birthmark, the one on his left shoulder blade. She drew a little heart next to it. I kissed that birthmark on our wedding night, Patricia says quietly. The trucker leaves. We're alone now, except for the waitress refilling coffee for a ghost town. I poisoned my uncle, I say. It comes out flat, matter of fact. Patricia looks up sharply. What? At the barbecue, after he showed me the dash cam footage, I put ipecac syrup in his beer. He spent the night vomiting. Why are you telling me this? Because you asked what I'm going to do and I want you to know who you're dealing with. I'm not handling this well. I'm not taking the high road. I humiliated my wife in front of my entire family, I poisoned my uncle, and I'm about to destroy her in court. I meet her eyes. If you're looking for someone stable to strategize with, I'm not that person right now. She studies me for a long moment. Then she pulls out her phone and opens her photos. This is what I did tonight before I called you. The image shows a wedding photo. Patricia and Brad, younger, happy. Except someone has taken a Sharpie and drawn devil horns on Brad's head, blacked out his teeth, given him a mustache. I did this to every photo in the house, she says. 17 pictures. Our engagement photo, our honeymoon, both kids' baby photos where he's holding them. I went through with a Sharpie and defaced my own memories. I look at the vandalized photo. At Brad's devil horns and missing teeth. Did it help? I ask. No. She puts the phone away. But I'm going to keep doing it anyway. We sit there in the Denny's until 2 a.m., trading stories of betrayal like battle scars. She tells me about the time Brad came home smelling like unfamiliar perfume and claimed his coworker hugged him. I tell her about Amanda's new lingerie that I never saw her wear. When we finally leave, Patricia pauses by her car. Thank you for meeting me, she says. I know your attorney's going to be furious. Probably. I unlock my rental. But you deserve to know. And I needed to talk to someone who understands. We should stay in touch. Compare notes as things develop. Jason will have an aneurysm. My attorney, when I hire one, will probably feel the same way. She opens her car door. I don't care. They did this together. We should face it together. I watch her drive away, then sit in my car and check my phone. 17 missed calls from Jason, 8 from my mother, 3 from Amanda. I delete Amanda's voicemails without listening. Then I open my email and start typing to Patricia, attaching every document, every photo, every piece of evidence I've collected. The subject line reads, "Everything I know." I hit send and drive back to the hotel, where I'll spend another night not sleeping in my own bed. The private investigator's name was Dennis Walsh, and he looked exactly like what I'd expected. Mid-50s, gray haircut military short, khakis and a polo shirt that stretched across a gut that said he spent more time in surveillance vans than at the gym. He sat across from me at a corner table in a Panera Bread, sliding a manila envelope across the laminate surface. 3 days of surveillance, he said. Your wife's been staying at your parents' place on Riverside Drive, correct? Correct. I didn't touch the envelope yet. She's been busy. Dennis pulled out his phone, tapped a few times, then turned it toward me. Day 1, she met with an attorney. Franklin Reeves, family law specialist. Offices downtown on Peachtree. She was there 90 minutes. I nodded. Expected. Day 2, she drove to Buckhead. Met with this woman. He swiped to another photo. A blonde in her early 40s, designer sunglasses carrying a Louis Vuitton bag. Took me some digging, but that's Claire Donovan. She's Brad Hutchinson's sister. My hand stopped halfway to my coffee cup. His sister? Lives in Sandy Springs. Divorced. Works in real estate. Your wife met her at a Starbucks on Roswell Road. They talked for 45 minutes. He swiped again. Got some good shots through the window. The photos showed Amanda and this Claire woman leaning close across a small table. Amanda's face animated, Claire touching her arm in what looked like comfort or encouragement. Could you hear what they said? No audio, but I got video of the whole thing. Dennis pulled a thumb drive from his pocket. Body language suggests they're close, friendly. Your wife cried twice during the conversation. I took the thumb drive. What about day 3? That's where it gets interesting. He pulled up another set of photos. Yesterday afternoon, she drove to a Wells Fargo branch on Piedmont, withdrew $5,000 in cash. I've got photos of her at the teller window and video of her leaving with the envelope. 5,000, I sat back. From which account? Can't tell you that without access to her banking records, but she walked in with her purse and walked out with cash. He paused. After the bank, she drove to a FedEx store, shipped a package, medium-sized box, maybe 10 by 12 inches, paid cash for overnight shipping. Did you see the address? Couldn't get close enough without being obvious, but I got the tracking number off the receipt she threw in the trash outside. He slid a piece of paper across the table. One of my contacts at FedEx can pull the destination for $500. I looked at the tracking number. Do it. Already did. Dennis grinned. Package went to a residential address in Asheville, North Carolina. 847 Montford Avenue. Property records show it's owned by Bradley and Patricia Hutchinson. My coffee had gone cold. Brad's in Asheville? Or Patricia is. Or both. Either way, your wife just sent $5,000 worth of something to that address. He leaned forward. Want me to keep following her? Yes. I didn't hesitate. I want to know everywhere she goes, everyone she talks to, especially if she leaves the state. Will do. Dennis pulled out a contract. Standard rate is $200 an hour plus expenses. Based on the first 3 days, you're looking at about $3,000 a week. I signed without reading. Jason had already warned me that surveillance wasn't cheap, but I didn't care. Amanda was planning something, and I needed to know what. After Dennis left, I sat in my car in the parking lot and called Patricia Hutchinson. She answered on the second ring. Kevin? Did you receive a package today from Atlanta? A pause. How did you know about that? I have someone watching Amanda. She sent something to your address yesterday. Overnight shipping. Hold on. I heard rustling, footsteps. Brad's not here. He's staying at his mother's place in Charlotte. I'm the only one at the house. What was in the package? More rustling, then the sound of cardboard tearing. It's, oh my God. Patricia? It's money. Her voice had gone tight. Stacks of $100 bills. And a note. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. What does the note say? For the lawyers and the fresh start you deserve. I'm so sorry for everything. We'll get through this together. Love, A. Patricia's breathing had quickened. Kevin, this is $5,000. I closed my eyes. She withdrew it yesterday. Cash. I had her followed. Why would she send me money? Because she's building an alliance. The pieces were clicking together. Think about it. You're Brad's wife. You have access to his phone records, his credit cards, his emails. If Amanda can convince you that she's on your side, that Brad manipulated both of you, then you won't use that evidence against her in my divorce. That's insane. Is it? She met with Brad's sister 2 days ago, Claire Donovan. They had coffee in Buckhead. I pulled up the photos Dennis had sent me. My investigator got pictures. They looked pretty friendly. Patricia was quiet for a long moment. Claire called me last week, said she wanted to talk about what Brad did to both of us. I told her I wasn't interested. Amanda's recruiting. She's trying to build a narrative where she and Brad are both victims of some mutual attraction they couldn't control, where you and I are the real enemies because we won't forgive them. I started the engine. Don't cash that money. Don't spend it. Keep it exactly as you received it. Why? Because it's evidence. She's trying to influence a witness in an active divorce proceeding. That's witness tampering. It might not be criminal, but it'll look terrible in front of a judge. Jesus. Patricia's voice had dropped to a whisper. She really thinks this will work. She's desperate. Her family banned her from their reunions. Her parents are letting her stay with them, but from what I hear, my father barely speaks to her. She's losing everything, so she's trying to salvage what she can. I pulled out of the parking lot. The question is, what else is she planning? I'll keep the money. Document everything. Patricia paused. Kevin, there's something else. Brad's lawyer contacted mine yesterday. They're offering a settlement. What kind of settlement? He keeps his 401k and his car. I get the house and primary custody of the kids. He'll pay child support but wants minimal alimony. His lawyer says he's eager to resolve this quickly and amicably. Don't take it. I wasn't planning to, but why? Because if Brad's rushing to settle, it means he's scared. He knows you have evidence. He knows I have evidence. He wants to close this down before it gets worse. I turned onto the highway, which means there's more to find. Like what? I don't know yet. But Amanda didn't just send you $5,000 out of the goodness of her heart. She's protecting something, or someone. Patricia was quiet. Then, my lawyer can subpoena Brad's financial records, bank statements, credit cards, everything. It'll take a few weeks, but we can do it. Do it, and send me copies of everything you find. Jason told you not to work with me. Jason's protecting me legally, but I'm not asking you to do anything illegal. You have every right to subpoena your husband's records in your own divorce. What you do with that information afterward is your business. She laughed, but it sounded bitter. We're quite a pair, aren't we? Yeah. I merged onto I-85. We are. After we hung up, I drove to the hotel and sat in my room with Dennis's photos spread across the bed. Amanda meeting with Claire Donovan. Amanda at the bank. Amanda at FedEx. Her face in every shot looked composed, determined. Not the face of someone drowning in regret. My phone buzzed. A text from my father. We need to talk. Can you come by the house tomorrow? I stared at the message. My father had barely spoken to me since the barbecue, his disappointment clear even through his silence. Now he wanted to talk. I typed back, "What time?" His response came immediately. 10 a.m. Just you and me. I lay back on the hotel bed and stared at the ceiling. Amanda was building something, piece by piece. Money to Patricia, meetings with Brad's sister, a lawyer on retainer. She wasn't just defending herself anymore. She was going on offense. My father's study smelled like leather and Old Spice, same as it had since I was 10 years old. He sat behind his desk, the big oak one he'd bought when he made colonel, and gestured to the chair across from him. The chair where I'd sat for every major conversation of my life. College decisions, career choices. The day I told him I was going to propose to Amanda. "Coffee?" he asked. "I'm good." He poured himself a cup anyway, taking his time with the cream and sugar. Stalling. My father never stalled. "Your mother thinks I'm making a mistake," he finally said. "Talking to you about this." "About what?" He opened his desk drawer and pulled out a folder. Not manila like the ones Dennis gave me. This was leather, expensive, the kind Amanda used for her important documents. "She left this here 3 days ago, asked me to give it to you." He slid it across the desk. I read it. Against my better judgment, but I read it. I didn't touch it. "What is it?" "A letter, and some other things." He leaned back in his chair. "Kevin, I know what she did. I know about the affair, about the lies. I saw that video at the barbecue, same as everyone else. But she's still the mother of your children, and she's asking for a chance to explain." "There's nothing to explain." "Maybe not, but there might be things you don't know." He tapped the folder. "Read it, then decide." I picked up the folder. Inside was a handwritten letter. Amanda's neat cursive, the same writing from the journal. And beneath it, medical records, lab results, a prescription bottle label. The letter started. "Kevin, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect you to finish reading this. But you deserve the truth, all of it, not just the parts that make sense with your anger." I almost put it down, almost walked out. But my father was watching me with those steady gray eyes, and I kept reading. 2 years ago, my doctor diagnosed me with severe clinical depression. I didn't tell you because you were up for partner, and I didn't want to add to your stress. I started medication, Zoloft, then Wellbutrin, when the first one didn't work. The prescriptions are in this folder if you want to verify. I flipped to the medical records. Prescription from Dr. Sarah Weinstein, dated March 2021. Diagnosis: major depressive disorder. Refills every 3 months since then. The medication helped, but it also flattened everything. I couldn't feel sad, but I couldn't feel happy either. I couldn't feel anything. I told Dr. Weinstein, and she said it was a common side effect. That we could adjust the dosage, but I didn't want to adjust it. I wanted to feel something, anything. My hands were shaking. I set the letter down. "You didn't know," my father said quietly. "She never told me." "I know." I picked up the letter again. Brad was a mistake, a terrible, selfish mistake, but he wasn't about love or passion or anything meaningful. He was about feeling something again, feeling wanted, feeling alive. I know how that sounds. I know it doesn't excuse what I did. But you asked me once why I did it, and that's why. Because I was drowning in numbness, and I grabbed onto anything that made me feel real. The next page was a printout of text messages between Amanda and Dr. Weinstein's office, scheduling emergency appointments. Dates that corresponded with journal entries. April 16th, the day after her first time with Brad. Need to see Dr. W ASAP. Having crisis. May 24th, after the Portland trip. Medication not working. Thoughts getting worse. June 30th. Can't do this anymore. Need help. I ended it with Brad on July 1st. The journal entry about him giving me a key to his condo, I never used it. I gave it back the next day and told him we were done. He didn't take it well. He's the one who kept calling, Kept texting. The video your uncle showed, that was Brad kissing me in the parking lot while I told him it was over. I looked at the dash cam footage timestamp in my mind. July 2nd, 2:47 p.m. 11-second kiss. I know you won't believe me. Why would you? I lied for 6 months, but I'm attaching the text messages between Brad and me. You'll see the conversation where I ended it, where he begged me to reconsider, where I blocked his number. The next pages were screenshots, text messages from Brad's number to Amanda's. Brad, you can't just end this. We love each other. Amanda, I don't love you. I never did. I used you to feel something, and that was wrong. Brad, don't do this. Patricia doesn't matter. Kevin doesn't matter. We matter. Amanda, there is no we. There never was. Please don't contact me again. Brad, you're making a mistake. You'll regret this. Amanda, I already regret everything. Goodbye, Brad. The timestamp showed July 1st, 11:43 p.m., the day before the dash cam footage. The money I sent to Patricia wasn't to buy her silence. It was because Brad cleaned out their joint account before he left, took $40,000 and disappeared to his mother's place in Charlotte. Patricia called me crying because she couldn't make her mortgage payment. I sent her $5,000 because I helped destroy her life, and it was the least I could do. I set down the letter and looked at my father. You believe this? I don't know what to believe. He refilled his coffee. But I do know that Amanda showed up here 3 weeks ago looking like she'd lost 20 pounds. She can't sleep. She barely eats. Your mother found her in the bathroom at 2 in the morning, sitting in the dark. Good. Kevin. His voice sharpened. I'm not defending what she did, but I am telling you that whatever's happening to her, it's not an act. I picked up the last page of the letter. I'm not asking you to take me back. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm asking you to let me see my children more than 2 hours a week with a court supervisor in the room. Emma asked me yesterday why Daddy hates Mommy now. She's 9 years old and she thinks you hate me. Tyler won't even look at me. My throat tightened. I made a terrible mistake. I hurt you. I hurt our family. But I'm still their mother, and I'm begging you, not as your wife, but as the person who gave birth to your children. Please don't take them away from me completely. I'll sign whatever custody arrangement you want. I'll agree to whatever financial terms, just please let me be their mother. The letter ended there. No signature. Just that last desperate plea. I sat in silence for a long time. My father didn't push. He just drank his coffee and waited. She had an affair, I finally said. For 6 months. She lied to me every single day. Yes. She wrote about it in a journal, in detail. She documented everything. Yes. And now she wants me to feel sorry for her because she was depressed? My father set down his cup. I think she wants you to understand that people are complicated, that sometimes the worst things we do come from the worst pain we're in. He paused. Your mother had postpartum depression after your sister was born. Did you know that? I looked up sharply. No. She didn't tell anyone for 8 months. Not me, not her doctor, not her mother. She just suffered in silence because she thought admitting it meant she was failing as a mother. He stared into his coffee. One night I came home and found her sitting in the nursery with a bottle of sleeping pills. She hadn't taken them, but she'd thought about it. The room felt smaller suddenly. We got her help. Medication, therapy, support, and she got better. But it took time, and it took me understanding that her pain wasn't about me. It wasn't about our marriage or our family. It was about something broken in her brain chemistry that needed fixing. That's not the same thing. Isn't it? He met my eyes. Amanda made terrible choices, but she made them while she was drowning. That doesn't excuse the choices, but it might explain them. I stood and walked to the window. Outside, my mother was working in her garden, pulling weeds from around the roses. The same roses she'd planted 20 years ago, after she came out of that dark period my father just described. "What do you want me to do?" I asked. "I want you to read that letter and decide if complete destruction is really what you want. Because that's where you're headed, son. You're going to take those kids, take the house, take everything, and leave Amanda with nothing. Maybe she deserves that. But maybe, and I'm just asking you to consider this, maybe there's a middle path." I thought about Emma asking why Daddy hates Mommy, about Tyler not looking at Amanda during supervised visits, about the custody arrangement Jason had drafted that would give Amanda every other weekend and one dinner per week, always supervised, always documented. "She sent $5,000 to Patricia Hutchinson," I said. "My investigator documented it." "Did you ask Amanda why?" "No." "Maybe you should." I turned from the window. "Whose side are you on?" "Yours. Always yours." My father stood and walked over to me. "But being on your side doesn't mean watching you burn down everything in your path. I've seen men do that, Kevin. In the military, in business, in life. They get hurt, they get angry, and they scorch the earth. And you know what they're left with? What? Ashes. Just ashes and regret." He put his hand on my shoulder. "You have every right to divorce Amanda, every right to be angry. But those kids didn't do anything wrong, and they're going to live with whatever you decide here. Make sure it's something you can live with, too." I left my father's house with Amanda's folder and drove to the Marriott. Sat in my room and read the letter 3 more times. Looked at the medical records, the prescriptions, the text messages ending things with Brad. Then I called Dennis Walsh. "I need you to verify something," I said. "The text messages I'm about to send you, I need to know if they're real or fabricated." "Can do. Forward them over." I sent the screenshots of Amanda's conversation with Brad. Dennis called back 40 minutes later. "They're real," he said. "I contacted Brad's cell provider. The messages match their records, timestamps and all. She did end it on July 1st. And the dash cam footage from July 2nd? I reviewed it again with the timestamp visible. The kiss lasted 11 seconds. Your wife spent most of that time with her hands on his chest, pushing back. It's not the passionate reunion the first viewing suggested." I thanked him and hung up. Then I called Patricia Hutchinson. "The $5,000 Amanda sent you," I said. "Did Brad really clean out your account?" "Yes, $43,000. My lawyer's filing a motion to freeze his assets, but it takes time." She paused. "How did you know about the money?" "Amanda told me, in a letter." I looked at the folder on my bed. "She said she sent it because you couldn't make your mortgage." "That's true. I was 3 days from foreclosure when that package arrived." Patricia's voice softened. I thought she was trying to manipulate me, but she saved my house, Kevin. I closed my eyes. "What are you going to do?" Patricia asked. "I don't know yet." The hearing was scheduled for Thursday morning. Jason had prepared a motion for primary custody with supervised visitation. He had the journal entries, the bank statements, the affair timeline. He had my parents' testimony about Amanda's instability. He had everything we needed to win. I sat in his office Wednesday afternoon and told him I wanted to withdraw the motion. "Absolutely not." Jason didn't even look up from his notes. "We have her dead to rights. The judge will give you everything you're asking for. I want joint custody, 50-50 split." Now he looked up. "Have you lost your mind?" "She ended the affair before I found the journal. She's been in therapy for 2 years for depression, and she's still their mother. She's an adulterer who lied to you for 6 months. I know what she is." I met his eyes. "But I also know what I am. And I'm not someone who takes kids away from their mother because I'm angry." Jason set down his pen. "Kevin, listen to me very carefully. If you back down now, you lose your leverage. She'll interpret it as weakness. Her lawyer will push for more time, more money, more everything. You'll end up with less than if you'd just gone for the throat from the beginning. Maybe, but I'll be able to look at myself in the mirror. This isn't about mirrors. This is about protecting yourself and your children from someone who's proven she can't be trusted. She can't be trusted as a wife, I said. That doesn't mean she can't be trusted as a mother. Jason studied me for a long moment. Then he leaned back in his chair and sighed. You're making a mistake. Probably, but it's my mistake to make. The mediation happened in a conference room at the courthouse. Amanda sat across from me with her lawyer, Franklin Reeves, a silver-haired man who looked like he charged $500 an hour. Amanda looked smaller than I remembered. Thinner. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, no makeup, wearing a plain blue dress. She didn't look at me when I walked in. Mr. Patterson, Franklin began, my client is prepared to offer very reasonable terms. She's requesting joint physical custody with a 50-50 split, no alimony, and an equitable division of assets. She'll take her car and her personal belongings. You keep the house, the retirement accounts, and the investment portfolio. Jason started to object, but I held up my hand. What about the affair expenses? I asked. The $8,000 she spent on Brad? Amanda flinched. My client is willing to reimburse those expenses from her share of the assets, Franklin said smoothly. We can deduct it from her settlement. And the journal? Amanda looked up then. Her eyes were red-rimmed, exhausted. I'll destroy it, she said quietly. All of it. The physical copy and any backups. You can watch me do it if you want. I have photos of every page. I know, but I'm offering anyway. She folded her hands on the table. I'm not fighting you, Kevin. I'm not going to drag this out or make it ugly. I just want to be in my children's lives. I looked at her. Really looked at her. The woman I'd married 12 years ago was still there, somewhere under the weight of everything that had happened. Still there in the way she bit her lower lip when she was nervous. Still there in the way her hands shook slightly as she gripped them together. The depression, I said. Why didn't you tell me? Because you had enough to worry about, and because I thought I could handle it on my own. She took a shaky breath. I was wrong about a lot of things. Jason leaned over and whispered, We can get more than this. Don't settle. I ignored him. Joint custody, I said. 50-50 split. You reimburse the affair expenses. We sell the house and divide the proceeds. We each keep our own retirement accounts. And we go to family therapy, all four of us, to help the kids adjust. Amanda's eyes filled with tears. Yes? All of that? Yes? Franklin looked surprised but recovered quickly. We can draft the agreement this afternoon. One more thing, I said. The journal. I want you to read the entries out loud. To me. Every single one. I want to hear you say the words you wrote. Amanda went pale. Kevin, that's my price. You read them, I sign the agreement. You refuse. We go to trial, and I bury you. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay. We met at a coffee shop near the courthouse. Amanda brought the journal in a plastic bag, like evidence. We sat at a corner table and she opened to the first page. April 15th, she began, her voice barely above a whisper. He makes me feel alive again. It took 2 hours. She read every entry while I sat across from her and listened. She cried through most of it. Her voice broke on the entries about our bed, about lying to our children, about the Portland trip. When she finished, she closed the journal and looked at me with devastated eyes. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. I took the journal from her hands. Walked to the coffee shop's fireplace. Decorative, but it had real flames. Threw the journal in and watched it burn. We're done now, I said. The affair, the lies, all of it. We're done. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. But we're not done being parents. We're going to co-parent our children, and we're going to do it right. No bad-mouthing each other. No using them as weapons. We're going to put them first, even when it hurts. I promise, she said. I swear to you, I promise. I stood to leave, then turned back. The medication. Are you still taking it? Different one now. Dr. Weinstein switched me to something that works better. And I'm in therapy twice a week. Good. Keep doing that. 6 months later, I stood in Emma's school auditorium watching her dance recital. Amanda sat 3 seats away. We'd learned that was close enough to present a united front, but far enough to maintain boundaries. Tyler sat between us, sharing a bag of gummy bears with his sister before her performance. "Daddy," Emma whispered from backstage, waving at me. Then she turned and waved at Amanda. "Mommy!" We both waved back. After the recital, we took the kids for ice cream. Sat at a picnic table outside the Dairy Queen while Emma demonstrated her dance moves and Tyler tried to balance his cone on his nose. "They're doing okay," Amanda said quietly. "Better than I expected." "Kids are resilient." "Thanks to you. You could have made this so much worse." I watched Tyler finally get the cone balanced, then immediately drop it on the ground. His face crumpled, but Amanda was already up with napkins, promising him a new one. "I could have," I agreed. "But then I'd be teaching them that revenge matters more than healing. That punishment matters more than forgiveness." She came back with Tyler's new cone and sat down. "I don't deserve your forgiveness." "Probably not. But the kids deserve parents who can be in the same room without destroying each other. So here we are." Uncle Ray died 3 months after the barbecue. "Heart attack," the doctor said. Nothing to do with the ipecac I'd given him that night. Just bad genetics and too many years of heavy drinking catching up with him. I went to his funeral and stood at the back of the church, listening to his daughters talk about what a good father he'd been. How he'd always been there for them. How he'd taught them to stand up for family. I thought about the beer with the X on the cap, about my hand giving it to him, about those 4 words, "For your loose lips." He'd exposed Amanda's affair, given me the evidence I needed, and I'd poisoned him for it. The guilt sits with me still. Not crushing, not overwhelming. Just there. A quiet reminder that I'm capable of cruelty when I'm hurt. That I'm capable of crossing lines I never thought I'd cross. Patricia Hutchinson sends me Christmas cards now. She got the house, primary custody, and a favorable settlement after Brad's financial records revealed a second affair he'd been hiding. She's dating someone new, a librarian she met at work. She seems happy. Brad moved to Charlotte permanently. Started a new job, a new life. Emma mentioned once that she saw him at the mall with a woman who wasn't Aunt Patricia. I didn't ask for details. Amanda lives in a townhouse 10 minutes from my new condo. She has the kids every other week, plus Wednesday dinners. She never missed a payment on the affair expense reimbursement. Never broke a single term of our agreement. We're not friends. We'll never be friends. But we're functional co-parents, and that's enough. I learned something in those months after the barbecue, after the letter, after the choice between destruction and mercy. I learned that revenge feels good in the moment. Standing in front of that projector, watching my family turn against Amanda, handing that poisoned beer to Uncle Ray. It felt righteous, justified. Like I was finally taking control of something that had spun wildly out of my hands. But revenge doesn't heal anything. It just creates new wounds on top of the old ones. The real strength wasn't in destroying Amanda. It was in choosing not to. In reading that letter and recognizing that hurt people, that her affair wasn't about me, it was about her drowning in depression and grabbing onto anything that made her feel alive. That doesn't excuse what she did. Nothing excuses it. But understanding it meant I could let go of the rage that was eating me alive. Could stop spending my nights documenting her every move and start spending them being present for my kids. My father was right. Scorched earth leaves nothing but ashes. I chose to leave something standing instead. A family that looks different now, fractured but functional. Kids who know both their parents love them, even if those parents can't love each other anymore. A life that isn't what I planned, but is still worth living. And maybe that's the real lesson. Not that forgiveness erases consequences. Amanda still lost her marriage, her in-laws, the life she'd built. But that mercy, even when it's hard, even when it's not deserved, is sometimes the only thing that lets everyone move forward. I still have the photos of her journal entries, probably always will. A reminder of what happened, of who we both were in those terrible months. But I don't look at them anymore. I'm too busy living the life that comes after the affair, after the rage, after the choice to be something other than my worst impulses. It's not the life I wanted, but it's the one I chose. And that makes all the difference.